Good evening, Mr. Ginder and Miss Vaughan, and thanks for joining me in the debate today. And now let's begin. First, the affirmatives failed the litmus test and thereby concede the debate by failing to address the value or criterion or even a way to access either of them has given no reason why his arguments are more important. Critique. The affirmatives have arguments that link hard against the critique. Extend my first piece of Katie Evans the thought that the affirmative should win the debate just because the spreading of the debate is inherent loss of reality. No matter where you vote, you cannot control any form of debate because it's out of your area of control. Perpetuating these thoughts of control creates unending suffering. The only way to change is to realize our true area of control. Trying to form debate in any other way sees their influence of the policymakers and shows that we inherently can't do anything because we don't have individual power. This turns all education debate because it doesn't matter what we learn, we can see to the policymakers that they are the only ones that actually create change. This is where the value comes in of ending suffering, criterion of realizing what we can and cannot do. This is a direct turn on the methodology of the 1AR. This peacefulness is the only way to help animals so we realize their individual action. Case. Here's the story. As in my coachy evidence, the affirmative's use of the speed critique proves the point of the language being the inhibiting barrier that shows that animals in the squirrel will be oppressed. His misunderstanding proves that when we can't recognize a form of language, we restrict the individual. This cross applies to all other organisms, including humans, which means if you vote after, you're perpetuating a system that excludes difference. The affirmative would have you restrict my speech much in the same way that women and blacks couldn't speak. This paradigm is the same that destroys difference, reducing the education we can garner from this debate. The affirmative's complaint is not the reason to vote affirmative. The affirmative is like a 60-year-old debate coach complaining that LD has critiques and plans in it. It amounts to nothing. Excluding me is like excluding the evolution of LD and prevents others in the future from making new and interesting ways of debating. And he talks about how we can have in-depth discussions when he only uses 45 seconds of his 3-minute speech. This checks back to the abuse. Only by realizing that the only equal ways to include all difference can oppression and violence be stopped. This is better because, 1, there's no bright line for how much speed is too much. It's unfair to punish me for exceeding the arbitrary threshold because I couldn't have predicted what would be considered too fast. This also takes out the critique solvency because debaters wouldn't have to bother trying to adhere to arbitrary standards if they didn't know what they'd have to do to meet them. 2, voting on this particular speed critique won't actually stop spreading. There's no reason to drop me. Speed critiques will never win a significant number of rounds because there's no practical incentive to stop spreading. Speed critiques are common and possible, but obviously they've never solved. 3, by going faster, I can talk about more about a single subject, give more warrants, or read more cards about an issue. This allows for a more specific discussion about issues that increases education. 4, innovative arguments take more time to explain them because the complex warrants impact analysis. Penalizing speed kills innovation, encourages the same stock debate every round, which destroys education. 5, the ability to read more evidence in this is key to education because rewards debated for doing more pre-round research preparations that ways critique impacts because the research phase where we actually learn about the topic turns education. 6, speed solves elitism and debating by evening the playing field for everyone. Not everyone has access to high-level research tools like JSTOR or coaches to cut good cards for them, but everyone that does can do speed drills. Competitive debate tends to skew ground towards the debater with a better background, but speed helps solve these issues. 7, spreading boosts short-term memory, which is key to education everyday life. Psychology Today writes, the faster you can talk, the greater your power to recall phone numbers, directions, everyday tasks, arithmetic, and reading skills. 8, talking faster improves memory skills, preventing losses with age. Holmes McKenzie writes, increasing the memory spans as age was to be very closely related to changes in speech rate with age. 9, speaking at a faster rate enhances the quality of communication. Carrie Marsh writes, substantial evidence suggests that the faster speech can increase persuasion. 10, wrong form. The alternative forms of debate, such as conference, extent, or public forum, don't use spreading. People use debate policy because competitive spreading educational the benefits we feel should come from it. If people don't like spreading, you should go to a different form. Aldir shouldn't be punished for using a style that's meant to be used. 11, wrong form. The app shouldn't be yelling at me for spreading, but you should be writing letters to the NFL asking them to set actual rules against spreading. The speed K is asking the debaters to make an intentional strategic error. 12, by putting the critique in a form that will actually solve the trivialized the position to degrade its worth. This prevents the critique from ever solving. 13, debaters know the easiest way to beat speed critique is to talk even faster because the other side can't keep up with the biting and perform a contradiction, so the critique actually encourages spreading. 14, maximizing education reduce the debate to the trivia contest, which kill debate. Reading dictionaries would be educational, obviously not good for competitive activity. 15, he never told me before that he didn't like spreading. I'm forced to spread up to keep with the competition. He shouldn't be able to implement new ideas mid-round. To punish me for debating a style I'm forced to use and wasn't advised against the pre-round, it would be abusive and destructive to the debate forum. 16, turn speed is critical in developing linguistic abilities. Elizabeth Stein and Leader Poon writes, at a very fast rate in which the stimulus encoded physical features and instructed intellectual access is being achieved. 17, fairness is not a voter. We debate to learn not to be fair. Any speed fairness is checked by the people, not reading evidence or by clipping cards. Vote for the neg because the only change will be made for the better by realizing how we can fix the world in our own control and have any effect on what type of education we garner from the activity.